Welcome to CBSE English Tutorial, a visual guide.
All right, let's dive into A.R. Barton's classic chapter, Going Places. You know, it's one of those stories that really gets to the heart of a huge conflict we all deal with, that constant tug of war between our wildest dreams and, well, the reality we actually live in. And this quote right here, honestly, this is the key to unlocking the entire chapter. It just perfectly nails that feeling, doesn't it? Imagining this amazing future for yourself, only to have the real world kind of snap you back. This single idea is what drives the whole story. So, at the center of Going Places is our main character, Sophie. And Sophie is a schoolgirl who, let's be honest, spends a lot more time living inside her own head than she does in the here and now. To really get what makes her tick, we have to ask a couple of basic questions. Who really is this girl? And what are these incredible dreams that she's holding on to so tightly? And what's so wild is the sheer scale of her dreams. We're not talking about just getting a slightly better job. Oh no, Sophie dreams big. She dreams of glamour, of sophistication. She's going to open the most amazing boutique in the city or become a famous actress. She's just so sure that people will see her talent instantly. And here it is, the crash back down to earth. Because for all those grand plans, Sophie's reality couldn't be more different. Her family doesn't have a lot of money, and the path that's pretty much laid out for her and her friends, it's not glamorous. It's a job at the local biscuit factory. And that huge gap between her dreams and her destiny, that's the engine of the whole story. Now, to really highlight this conflict, the story gives us a fantastic character foil, Sophie's best friend, Janzi. And pay attention here because understanding the difference between these two is absolutely crucial. It's one of the most common questions you'll see about this chapter, for sure. So what's the deal? How can two best friends see the world in such completely different ways? Let's break down this classic contrast, the dreamer versus the realist. I mean, it couldn't be clearer, right? Sophie is a total escapist, just lost in these romantic fantasies about a life she can't afford. But Janzi, her feet are planted firmly on the ground. She knows their fate is pretty much set, summed up in that killer line that they are earmarked for the biscuit factory. Janzi is that voice of reason, always trying to get Sophie to just be a little more sensible. But it's not just her friend who's a walking reality check. Sophie's family life is another constant, grounding force. And honestly, another reminder of the world she's so desperate to escape from. Now, you'd think maybe her family would be her biggest cheerleaders, right? Well, not so much. So how do the people closest to her actually respond when she starts telling these grand imaginative stories? This table pretty much says it all. Her dad is just tired and skeptical, brushing her off with another of your wild stories. Her older brother, Jeff, who she completely idolizes, seems a little interested, but deep down, he doesn't believe her for a second. Even her little brother, Derek, gets in on it, mocking her. The bottom line is, nobody at home is buying what she's selling. So with all this disbelief swirling around her, what does Sophie do? She doubles down. She creates her most elaborate, most detailed fantasy yet. And it all revolves around one person, the football superstar, Danny Casey. Danny Casey isn't just some random celebrity. He is this young, incredibly talented Irish football prodigy. For Sophie's family, especially her dad and brother, he's a living legend. He represents everything their lives aren't: success, talent, excitement. This makes him the absolute perfect subject for her ultimate fantasy. And this brings us to a really key term you should know: hero worship. This is exactly what Sophie is doing. It's that super intense admiration you see in teenagers, where a famous person stops being a real human and turns into this perfect, idealized symbol of everything you want to be. See, Sophie doesn't just admire him from a distance, she invents an entire story of meeting him. And she fills it with these vivid, believable details, like his green eyes and his gentle voice. And the grand finale of this story? She claims he asked her on a date. The whole thing is really a desperate try to feel special, and most of all, to finally wow her quiet older brother, Jeff. But this is where her fantasy world slams head-on into reality. Sophie gets so lost in her own story that she actually goes to a canal to wait for him. She sits there all alone, imagining him showing up. But of course, he never does. How could he? It was never real. And that imaginary high leads to a very real and very lonely crash.
So after all that, what are we supposed to make of this? What's the big takeaway from Sophie's journey through dreams and disillusionment?
When you really get down to it, Sophie's fantasizing isn't just about ambition. It's a defense. Her dreams are her coping mechanism, her only real escape from what she sees as a boring, monotonous future that's already been decided for her. And the story makes one thing crystal clear: the incredible excitement Sophie feels about meeting Danny Casey and that crushing sadness she feels when he's a no-show, all of it is happening inside her own head. Her whole emotional journey is a product of her own imagination. And that leaves us with a really big question, one that goes way beyond just this story. Is it better to be like Sophie and dream these huge, impossible dreams that might just lead to disappointment? Or is it better to be like Janzi and stay grounded in reality, even if it means you never let yourself dream at all? It's definitely something to think about.
Thank you for watching. See you again in a bit.